Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is episode 5 of PyroFalkon Plays Evil Genius. In the last episode, Actually, it's been a while since I've done the last episode. Oh yeah, we got two of the super evil genius criminals, and now we're gonna get the third and the fourth, hopefully. Oh, looks like our last minion got captured in Antarctica. That's okay. So we basically have no heat anywhere. We have a little tiny blips of heat in places. But this is our guy that we need to get. We need to get the American crime lord, and for that we need 5 technicians. And we don't have that many. We only have 2. So I'm going to take our girl here, and we're going to have her run over here and... Oh wait, that's the valet table. We need to do that. So now she's going to run over here and prioritize the labs to train more techies. So there was a lot of time that passed between the recording of the first episode and the second... Well, the first episode and the next 3. And there has been some time passed since the recording of those 3 and this one. And one of the things that I found out, which I did not know during my last session, is there is an Evil Genius 2 in the works after all this time, which is great. I think this is one of the greatest games of all time. I've kind of gone back and forth about it, even in this series, but this is probably my 11th favorite game of all time. Barely missing my top 10 list. I couldn't be more excited about it. The problem is Evil Genius 2 doesn't have any funding. The game it got a lot of mixed reviews at the time when it came out, and that was before the internet made a lot of things easier and before there was digital distribution. So I think part of that hurt this game's sales. Well, obviously it hurt the game's sales, but I think the game would have been much bigger had it been released nowadays, when anyone can get it and you can pretty much have any game you want because of just the great variety that's on Steam and such. But anyway, my point is, so there isn't much funding for Evil Genius 2. They apparently ran out. There's also Evil Genius Online, which they were working on. From what I gather, Evil Genius Online is funded and they're working on it. Evil Genius 2 was partially funded. Right now it's not on Kickstarter as far as I'm aware. But if it gets on Kickstarter, if there's any way I can personally fund it, I will personally fund the hell out of Evil Genius 2. I can't wait. And my minions apparently can't wait to get into the armory and start putting down all these lockers that I bought, although they keep getting tangled up because they're jerks. But that's fine. We'll let them get on with it. So while our techies are being trained, as you can see over here, we're going to run ourselves another mission as we get the other class of the soldier class, the military class of people. We need 4 workers, so I'm going to take 5 workers. We'll make it 6. What the hell? 2 valets and Eli Barracuda. They'll head to South America, and we will capture ourselves a guard, interrogate him, and convert one of our minions to the soldier class. And I'm going to time skip now until we actually do that, because this is going to be one of those periods where I'm just going to be waiting around until either the techies get trained or that contingency force I just sent arrives in South America. But I will keep recording just in case something interesting happens while I'm waiting. This is one of the problems with the way I have my traps. I always build my bases so that there's a confusion trap right at the entrance. But then when I have too many tourists and too many agents tripping this, I start to have a, almost said a dog pile. That's not quite right. But anyway, a mass of humanity here of just nothing but confusion. So you have 4 of my construction workers here, actually 5, who are just confused. And I don't have a library yet, and I need to make that a priority. So we are going to go get ourselves a library. And we've captured a guard. And most of our techies are trained. We have 9 techies. I want 10. But while they handle that, we're going to send 5 guards, Eli, and 3 techies to Western California to get the library blueprints here. The best thing about techies is they decrease the amount of time that a mission takes, making them one of your most valuable assets in the field. So as they run off, we will time skip ahead to where I will build that library, and I'll show you how I set all that up. It's very strategic, I promise. We've succeeded in stealing the library blueprints, which means we can now build libraries in the base, which is great, except you can see up here our heat level is basically 50% against Patriot, which is the North American and Japanese group, intelligence agency. And the big problem with that is they are the most powerful, which is scary. Now, I could go after Mr. Crime Boss here. We have the techies. We have 7 techies on the base and 2 already in position. However, doing so would bring up the heat by 5 points. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to withdraw everybody, and we're going to let the heat die down. That's the secret of surviving in this game. In fact, usually if you lose or you get assaulted too heavily, it's because you didn't wait long enough for the heat to go down. That's kind of the grindy part that I was talking about earlier, and one of the possibly dubious design decisions of this game. It can be a little annoying waiting for all of that to happen, waiting for your heat to die down and that kind of thing. But, you know, like I said, I enjoy the game regardless. You know, one little quibble I have with the design does not make for a bad game. Alright, so in our library here, we're setting up 6 reading tables and our loudspeaker. And that will be our library. And the reason I put it here is because, as I said, there... Whoa, 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 whoa. Holy crap. Okay, let's try this again without the crash. So, I'm going to build my library here because, as you saw, I tend to have a bunch of minions who get confused in this area. One of them already is. Oh, and he's going to get a little confused as well. So, by placing a library here, what we get to do is when our guys get confused, our valets, one of their valets' jobs is to assist any minion who is having problems. Like if he's got a health panic, then he will be escorted to the pharmacy. Son of a bitch. A pharmacy that we don't currently have, but you know, eventually that's what we will do. Oh, I made the room a little different. I can actually put in another couple tables. So by placing the library, it's actually called the archives, whatever. By placing the library here, when we inevitably have minions who get near the traps and get themselves confused, the valets can simply walk them into here in order to recover their smarts, and then they will be back among our active force. Hooray! Meanwhile, training has started for the guards. We have 3 guards, 9 techies. We unfortunately lost one during the restart, but you can see our guys here, training away, punching the crap out of some dummies. We are doing pretty damn well. So we are going to, thank you, Akamura. So we're going to wait until the heat dies down, and then we're going to go after that North American crime boss, Marvin DeLuca. We'll take him out, and I will see you when we do that. Actually, I found something for my guys to do while we're waiting for all that to happen. We're going to start stealing some loot. Now, by knowing what I know about the game, it's actually not in your best interest to get too much physical loot in the first half of the game. All of these missions with flags allow you to raise your notoriety without getting any physical loot. It helps you gain bonuses as being an evil genius without drawing too much attention. The more loot you have in the first half of the game, the harder it is to transfer to the second half of the game. But there is still some loot we can get our hands on, like this priceless Ming vase. We require 2 workers, 2 valets, and 1 techie. So I'll do 2 workers, 2 valets, 5 techie, and a couple soldiers. And we will... yeah, stealing's good. So once we get in position over here, we'll steal ourselves a Ming vase, or vase. Assuming my guys want to... Oh, hey, look, they're already running over here. They get to... What? It's a vase. Everyone will gather up inside the depot here while they wait for the ship to arrive, and they won't leave until they all leave together, so we're just going to wait until all that nonsense happens. But once we get our vase, we will put it somewhere in the base, as I will show you when we get there. Vase face? Base space. Oh, vase base. I see what you're saying. You're starting to hurt my brain, Akamura. So I had said before, just in case you're watching this for tips, I had said before not to have too much heat, but what I should have said is not have too much heat in one particular area. We still have about a quarter heat over here in Patriot, but for China we don't have, well, we have about a quarter heat, but that's because of the group I just brought in. So we'll run one mission here to take the vase, and you will see our heat will jump when the timer is done. In 5 seconds, I forget, it's 0 counts, so you have to add 1 to the number that's there. And the heat, wow, surprisingly did not go up all that much, but it's now up to about, say, 40%, which is a little high, so we're going to pull our forces back. And if you do play this game for yourselves, you should always try to spread out your acts of infamy to every region in turn. That way you don't build up too much heat anywhere. And I had also said that there were only 19 regions on the game. There were 20. I said that back, I think, in episode 2. I don't know which region I had missed before, but whatever. It doesn't matter. We still have 4.5 million. It'll be a while before we have to grind for cash. So we have our vase somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's defaulting to the inner sanctum. And you can move your loot anywhere you wish. And the minions will gather around it, check it out, and they'll become more loyal and happy. Uh-oh. Guys, we have a problem here. Thank you, Eli. Please don't make me hit the cleansing button. Apparently, the rest of these guys really couldn't care less about it. That is ridiculous. Oh well, we're getting it done here. We are cleansing the island of bad people, or good people. There we go. Alright, so you may have just seen the pop-up. We also just earned the right to have an infirmary, so we'll put that down here, and I'm making this way too freaking big. Much bigger than it needs to be, but the reason I'm placing it here is because... Oh, you know what? I could... No, I better not do that. Sorry, brain is working at 100 miles an hour. There we go. So, by putting safe rooms here, rooms that don't have any incriminating nonsense at all, it gives the agents of good something to do when they walk along this first path. So they'll pop their heads in here and see nothing but beds and lockers and beds here. And when they pop their heads in here, just tables and books. And pop their heads in here and just a pharmacy. What could be nicer than a pharmacy in the middle of a mountain on an island, you know? It's safe. It's happy. And the agents will waste their time looking at this stuff. You know what I also could do? Let's do that. There we go. So now, if an agent of good pops into either one of these rooms, he might see this door and want to go into it. I was going to put a door here on this corner as well for the pharmacy, but if I do that, an agent could theoretically bypass the cameras, or at least make it harder to be picked up by the cameras. And by making sure there's only one way into this section, I can assure myself that one of these cameras will pick them up. You always need to think ahead when you're placing your rooms. The only problem with these rooms, though, is eventually the agents of good are going to have a class of good guys called saboteurs. And saboteurs like running around and bombing the shit out of everything they can see. And I've noticed the saboteurs enjoy bombing the crap out of my books for some reason. So we'll probably have this room take some damage eventually. But with the fire extinguishers right here, it'll be easy to put out any fires and minimize any sort of damage that could occur. So right now we are on track, and let's check our heat with Patriot. It's pretty low. It's low enough. We'll go after the crime lord. So we need 5 techies, and the interesting thing is, even though it says the time, it'll be 3 minutes to do the mission, just the act of having 5 techies in the region means this will be cut in half down to 1 minute 30 seconds. I have memorized that number for reasons I cannot understand, other than the fact that I really, really like this game. So we are going to set them to do plotting, and I think it's 5 techies cuts the time in half. 3 scientists cuts the time in half, and I can't remember what else, but half is as good as it ever gets. I once dumped like 20 scientists into a region just to try to make the time like 1 second or something for a mission, and that did fuck all. Lessons learned. This game is good for experimentation like that, especially if you save early and save often, as I do. So we will check in again once we get ourselves the American crime lord Marvin DeLuca. Good to see my memory work sometimes. 5 techies cuts the time in half. So in a minute and a half, we will have ourselves Martin DeLuca and succeed in 1 more of the story missions. Now while that's going on, we'll look ahead to the next one. The inscrutable Lei Ying Lo is the undisputed head of organized crime across China and Southeast Asia. Track him down and send out a party to show him we mean business. I always forget his exact location. I don't think he's in Southeast Asia. I think he's in North China. Or Central. I can't remember. So we're going to send 1 techie to North China and 1 techie to Central Asia. And all we're going to have them do is plot. And then once this mission is over, we'll start sending some more techies over there to fill out Southeast Asia and see if we can find them. All of this is written down in FAQs and stuff. If you ever care to look, I think I have it written down somewhere, but I just don't have the paperwork with me, and I don't really care. We'll just adventure and try to find stuff. 40 seconds left.
Pacific Radio.
The West Coast is abuzz with rumors that Marvin DeLuca, the reclusive crime boss, has been spotted boarding a plane at a private airfield outside Los Angeles. DeLuca is rarely seen in public since the famous Laszlo twin murders. So, whatever has drawn the Don out of his hiding must be important. Perhaps a grand meeting of crime bosses, Bill?
Brr, I wouldn't like to be in a room with guys like that. All those big guns. You think they're compensating for some of the Larry, eh?
Well, I must stress that Bill's views do not represent my own.
Gee, Bill, you want to get capped?
I love the radio broadcaster guys. Alright, so we have 1 techie in each region, and I just gave the order to double that force. So we'll have 2 techies all plotting because it all stacks. You can even click a dude, and you can see, like, this guy has, the thought bubble is how quickly they can gather information and intel and figure out new missions in the area. And the muscles is how good they are at defending other units. It's kind of weird that techies are good at defending other units. Well, fair. Oh, that was fast. There he is, Oriental Crime Lord. The Oriental underworld is controlled by a very secretive individual known as Lei Ying Lo. After a lengthy period of investigation, his hideout has been discovered. Pay a visit to Lei Ying Lo and convince him to come out of hiding to attend the crime boss meeting. That is what we are going to do. Wow, this techie is kicking butt. He also discovered this mission and this mission where we can pick up another Ming vase. Kick ass. Well, in order to get him, we need 5 guards. I'm going to cancel the reinforcements. That way we keep our heat down. And I have 10 guards. Okay, well, let's transfer both of you over here. We'll add another 2, and we'll add 5 guards. And Eli. That should be pretty good. But we'll keep them plotting so they can discover more missions there. Oh look, we have our thieves. These burglars look for items that you have stolen. They can take them, they can take them back, and some items are permanently gone if they do take them. Luckily our vase will not be permanently taken, and besides, these guys, or I should say these ladies, aren't going to get anywhere near that vase. But we'll keep an eye on them, and we'll do our mission to get the final crime lord in the almost the final crime lord, the 4th crime lord in the next episode. You also see I had to expand my power grid here because, as you can see here, I'm running 60 power items. I only have 65 power. It's not going to take very long before we start having problems. And our power plants are already taking damage because they're overtaxed, so our techies are on it. We have some pretty good control over the situation. Alexis is a good manager. And we'll keep managing our minions and our loot in the next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you tomorrow for another one. Good timing, game.